challenge. A similar reason why Cabinet has approved borrowing of $75 million to promote the national oil palm project.
Cabinet authorized the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to proceed to Parliament to seek approval. The overall goal of this oil palm project is to contribute to sustainable poverty reduction in the project areas.
The proportion of the Ugandan population living below the national poverty line declined from 31.1% in 2006 to 19.7% in 2013. This is according to the 2016 Uganda Poverty Assessment Fact Sheet conducted by World Bank. The country was reported one of the fastest in sub-Saharan Africa in reducing dependence on less than $1 a day. However, more still needs to be done, which makes borrowing inevitable.
In Kalangara, the project will consolidate the investments undertaken under Vegetable Oil Project Phase 2 and support oil palm communities with activities complementary to oil palm investment.
So the loans that we are acquiring are within our debt sustainability strategy, and we think that at the moment we stand at 38.6% debt to GDP ratio against a threshold that we set as the East African community of 50%.
In a similar vein, Cabinet has approved plans to amend objectives of Bank of Uganda and its functions. The amendment seeks to outline monetary policy operations of the central bank.
What the law now requires, what we are going to be amending, is to allow flexibility so that instead of fixing our reserves in terms of months, then we can allow flexibility. We fix in terms of dollars or shillings instead of months. That's one of the amendments that we will be bringing in the bill.
Progress in reducing poverty has gained momentum in northern and eastern Uganda, regions which had higher concentration of poverty. How far the new interventions can go through borrowing could be a matter of time. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Boda 2010 patron Abdallah Chitata and his co-accused have entered a plea of not guilty on charges levied against them by the military court-martial. Chitata and 11 others had on the 13th of February refused to plead to the charges before the court on grounds that it had no jurisdiction to try them. However, following a warning by the court chairman, Lieutenant General Andrew Guti, that their behavior was tantamount to contempt of court, their lawyer Shaban Sanywa informed court that his clients were ready to take plea. They all entered a plea of not guilty, feigning innocence on all counts. The defense lawyer also asked the prosecution team led by Major Raphael Mujisha to avail with them all the evidence incriminating his clients. Court transferred Kitata from Luzira prison and remanded him to Machinde military police barracks and his co-accused back to Luzira. Prosecution alleges that the accused were found in illegal possession of firearms and military stores, ordinarily a monopoly of the defense forces. These were returned to court on the 19th of March for further mentioning of their case. Insufficient numbers of judicial officers is a big challenge in the delivery of justice. In spite of this, Chief Justice Bat Katurebe insists on expediting the process. As Dorcas Kimono reports, the Constitutional Court and the Court of Appeal have no more than 15 judges. We have details with Dorcas here.
In the recent past, the judiciary promised to introduce regional constitutional courts across the country as a way of delivering timely justice. However, this initiative seems to be far from being realized.
Regional centers means the appointment of more judges. What they are doing now is to move from Kampala. They go and hear cases in the regions, but come back to Kampala.
Chief Justice Bat Katurebe says the recently appointed judges will only help to fortify the Constitutional Court.
Efficiently, before going into regions and so on, it must have the basic number of judges that it should have. Now, this court should have 15 judges. And there are others who have just been approved by Parliament, so we hope they will soon get a full complement of 15 judges.
Mr. Katwebe wants a minimum of 32 Constitutional Court judges.
Because if you have to have, say, 4 in 4 regions, and you have to sit as a Constitutional Court, each one with 5 judges, then it means you need at least 5 judges in each region. If you have 4 regions, that's 20 judges. So that's why we have made proposals that the number on the Constitutional Court or Court of Appeal should eventually be increased to 32 judges. That's when it will be feasible to start talking of a regional court.
The Chief Justice is also not happy with the way security operatives are increasingly violating people's rights through arrests and detention. Reacting on the recent case scenario where some journalists were arrested and detained beyond the 48-hour requirement, Justice Katwebe advises on the merits of the rule of law.
Matter, for example, which you are mentioning, why should somebody be arrested and be kept beyond the 48 hours? We have come out so many times on that one. The law requires them to be produced in court within 48 hours. Then the court may remand them.
Justice Katwebe, however, pledges to ensure that the judiciary redeems its image. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
We now take a quick break and return with more details. Do stick around if you may.
Hi fellow Ugandans, I have a dream to make Uganda great. Every day children miss school. Many homes are suffering from malaria. Great leaders do not wait for other people to get malaria. They prevent it from happening by sleeping under mosquito nets. Come on, Uganda, join us today.
Keep your child's dream alive by ensuring they all sleep under a treated mosquito net to prevent malaria.
Protect our dreams. Chase malaria today.
Movitable jelly and movitable soap is a friend who cannot leave you. When your skin irritates, rashes and ringworms, Movit can take care. It makes my skin so beautiful. Everybody testify. No more scratching again. Happy moments all day because we use Movitable jelly and Movitable soap. You will always be confident.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Uganda is to host an international infertility symposium due this Wednesday, 28th February here in Kampala. The symposium comes in the wake of confirmed reports that the infertility ratio in the country is between 10 and 15%, with much of that resulting from sexually transmitted diseases.
There is a gentleman who has married 37 women, and he thought the problem was with the women. He did not know that even men can be infertile. So
many couples have silently suffered trauma brought about by infertility. As usual, the ability to produce children is entirely attached to a woman, yet even men have complications. A high proportion of men will, after unsuccessful approaches to have children with their partners, opt for a marriage breakup. Infertility among men is caused by things like genetic diseases, diabetes, environmental factors like radiations, cancer, abnormal sperm production, drugs, liquor, and premature ejaculation. Whereas among women it's caused by cancer, early menopause, and damage of fallopian tubes, among others. Although Uganda is one of those countries with high fertility ratio, 10 to 15% of couples cannot have children due to infertility, 70% caused by sexually transmitted diseases.
Couples, if you have challenges in having children, the man should not first look at blaming the woman, but both should go to the hospital.
Quite often infertility is attributed to witchcraft and use of contraceptives, which the Ministry of Health disputes.
But we do not have any research findings that have shown that contraceptives have led to infertility. What people need to know is that when you take contraceptives, at the time when you want to conceive, you must stop them at a certain time, and then thereafter it may take you another maybe a year, within a year.
Uganda currently has about 5 private fertility centers whose fertility costs can only be afforded by the well-to-do. To solve the issue, Uganda established a state-of-art women's hospital to handle all fertility cases at a very low cost. The hospital is expected to be commissioned soon. A number of medical workers have also been trained on fertility issues.
We have trained personnel to be able to provide these services, and as I did indicate, this will be the first public facility in the region to provide fertility care to the population.
Also in the offing is an initiative to have a law regulating all fertility centers in Uganda. It is worth noting that the research that ranked Uganda the most fertile country in the world was carried out 30 years ago by the World Health Organization. This creates possibility that Uganda's fertility rate might have dropped.
We don't have any laws in place to regulate the fertility clinics in the country, and as we speak now, we are developing a law to be able to regulate these services in the country.
15% incidence of infertility attributed to WHO was data collected 30-40 years ago. To date, we must say that we do not have up-to-date data.
The first International Infertility Symposium is scheduled to take place in Kampala on Wednesday, 28th February. Focus is on regulation of infertility center and developing infertility database. Susan Naonga reporting.
Myenga Hill, a Kampala upscale residential area, is one place in Kampala where people love pets with passion. It is for this reason that a planned killing of dogs without prior warning has angered the residents. Residents here are bitter that Kampala Capital City Authority is not able to protect their pets and a few stray ones.
The sight of dead dogs and stench started the week for communities living around the villages surrounding Myenga Hill in Kampala. This is after mass poisoning of dogs by suspected city authority officials. 2 dogs have been safeguarding this office at a stone quarrying site in Sekide zone in Myenga, but they are no more. Stray Animals Act establishes liability for damages caused by trespassing animals, as well as the capture, impoundment, and deposition of stray animals.
I need to double check with our team, but also, dogs are supposed to be under chain. They are not supposed to stray, because if they stray, we need to be sure about the safety of the residents or the people in the city. Nobody can tell whether dogs were vaccinated or what. So whichever dog we find loitering, we put it to rest. So it is possible that they were found loitering, but I need to double check whether it's our team. But that is the law. You never leave dogs to loiter around.
Major contention, however, is on failure by Kampala Capital City Authority to issue prior communication.
What is the essence of doing that operation? If they are warned, they will keep them inside. The next day, they will again open the dogs, make them loose. So the purpose, they must be really ambushed. Then you will know the stray dogs from the one which are controlled within your perimeter walls.
Bernard Iga, UBC.
Police has placed 100 million prize for anyone who can recognize the voice of the suspected killer of Susan Magara. Abbas Byakagaba, the police head of operation into the murder of Magara, released a male voice to the media directing the family on where they had dumped the body. Susan Magara was kidnapped 20 days ago and the body was found along Entebbe Southern Bypass today.
This is a voice police picked from the relatives of Susan Magara, a victim killed by kidnappers. The male voice is directing the relatives on where to get the body of Susan Magara.
Magara? kwata orugudo rw'Entebbe ojja kuyita Namasuba kirimu Karo petrol station banyita Hasha oyo osanga okugirora ojja kugirora petrol station habitaho bata Namasuba kirimu kuli banyita Hasha mukono gulina kugenda Entebbe ojja kusanga akipandike nyine kikoto muri kya Hasha ekyo ijeho onyo ebiroho biri mukaveera ijeho aloye ekyo kiri mukaveera aruna sejja mara wina yakugamba utegereze
According to the lead investigator in the murder, Abbas Byakagawa, it's exactly where they found the body on Tuesday morning.
The body of late Susan Magara was recovered at a place called Kitiko, between Chigo and Kajansi, along the Entebbe Express Highway. The body was dumped a few meters from the main road.
Police has placed 100 million shillings prize for anyone who can recognize this voice of the suspected killer.
Uganda Police Force appeals to members of the public who can positively identify the voice in the recording that we are going to give you, so that we are able to share this information in confidence.
Magara, 28 years from Hoima and a cashier at Bwendero Dairy Farm in Kampala, went missing the night of February 7th this year in Mengo, a Kampala suburb, and her car was found abandoned 100 meters from her residence. However, there were allegations that the kidnappers had asked a ransom of 3.6 billion shillings, but police refused to confirm, neither did they deny it.
Were there any ransom demands? This is a case still under investigations, and I would request that most of these details, we keep them where they are.
Police also did not give details on allegations that the relatives had paid part of the ransom and that the kidnappers asked them to stay out of the matter.
Was the ransom paid? I think the same answer, that I beg that we stick to. Now currently, as I said, the main effort is to get to these terrorists who carried out the activities.
Susan is not the only victim of kidnap. There are still about 3 victims who are still reported missing days after they were allegedly kidnapped. Philip Aguta reporting.
This is quite disturbing. Thank you, Philip Aguta, and may her soul rest in peace. Let's take a short break and return with more details. This is News Tonight.
Best folk song. The nominees are
nakupenda mkwano nabula sala tunabala bancha tunonye umulungi wakuno mulungi watatangeza mulatata kama nziranako batunde mushigali bali bananziranako omwana wa mama yasinga oyo mwana wa mama lavunjagala nkuwale kana kasanze ne tata kamuga.
Welcome now to Business News Tonight. Cabinet has approved plans to update the objectives and functions of the Bank of Uganda through amendment of the Act that established the institution. Minister for ICT and National Guidance Frank Tumwebaze underscores the need to outline the monetary policy operations of the central bank. He was speaking during a weekly briefing on cabinet decisions at the media center, where he was flanked by State Minister for Finance David Bahati.
Of the requirements of the new national legislation and the regional East African community commitments. D. Strengthen provisions in the current act that are considered inadequate for the effective execution of Bank of Uganda's constitutional roles in the changing environment, and clarify those that have presented interpretation challenges. So the law for the bank must be tight, such that we do not expose our central bank to any challenges. The paper was presented by the Minister of Finance, and they have been given a go-ahead to have the bill drafted.
Currently, we are keeping our external reserves of an equivalent of 3 months of imports. We have fixed it. It is a fixed way of managing our reserves in terms of months. What it means and what the reason why we keep our external reserves is that we want to use them. We use them to stabilize our shillings, but also in the case of any need, we use our reserves to help and support imports to help the country. What the law now requires, what we are going to be amending, is to allow flexibility, so that instead of fixing our reserves in terms of months, then we can allow flexibility. We fix in terms of dollars or shillings instead of months. That's one of the amendments that we will be bringing in the bill.
Now, we'll take a very short break. On return, we'll have international news with Rhoda.
On the international scene in South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced a sweeping reshuffle on Monday. It included reappointing Lana Nene, who was sacked by Jacob Zuma as finance minister. Ramaphosa stamped his mark on the presidency with his choice of Nene, whose sacking from the same role began the revolt that eventually ousted former leader Jacob Zuma. David Mabuza, the current premier of Mpumalanga province, was controversially named as deputy president.
In the world of sport, the Chinese ambassador to Uganda, Zhang Zhiqiang, has promised his government support towards the sport of woodball in Uganda. The ambassador was a guest at the Uganda Woodball Federation head offices at Balintuma Road in Mengo.
Uganda Woodball Federation officials are all smiles following a promise by Chinese ambassador to Uganda, Zhang Zhiqiang, to support the sport scale the heights. The ambassador lauds the federation for its effort towards empowering the youth, and more so because this falls within the Chinese government principle of building people-to-people bonds.
I think we should promote the exchange, just like this football competition or tournament. I think this kind of exchange can involve more people to enjoy the spirit of this sport. And I mean, two countries should find some ways to strengthen the mutual understanding of our two peoples. I think sports or football playing is one of the vehicles for this exchange. It's very, very useful. So that's why I say we will continue to support Uganda Football Federation.
Federation President Paul Makayongo welcomes the Chinese offer and vows to maintain strides the sport has achieved over the years it has been in existence. He says that Uganda Football Federation is gratified for commitment to the Chinese government during the Year of the Dog, which encompasses friendship, love and loyalty with earth and wood energy. John Barnes, Centum, reporting.
The battle to regain the summit of the Azam Uganda Premier League continues as KCCA FC battles Masavu this Wednesday in Entebbe. KCCA is chasing Vipers and Sports Club Villa, knowing a slip might cost them the trophy. As our reporter highlights, 3 games are lined up for tomorrow.
Just corner, that's good. And jump! It's in!
3 top Azam Uganda Premier League teams are aware that a point can easily decide who walks away with the 2017-2018 Azam Uganda Premier League. A week back, Sports Club Villa was top of the table, but have since been replaced by Vipers, who are yet to lose a game in the last 6 games played. KCCA FC, who are in 3rd place, travel to Entebbe this Wednesday to face Masavu FC that battles in the relegation zone. KCCA's head coach Mike Mutebi is resting key striker Shaban Mohamed, but will try out young players.
We are looking at winning to build on the confidence. When the lads played and eliminated snaps, to build more confidence for them coming to this game. It is also important we win it, so that it gives more confidence to the players in preparation for the game against St. George. Shaban Mohamed is out and joins the list of the ones who have been missing in Jackson Nunda, Mutiara Muzamiru, Oreto Julius, but fortunately one of our center forwards is back in Kabi Patrick, so we believe they will be able to serve us well.
KCFC will later play Swana before traveling to Ethiopia to play St. George in the CAF Champions League early next month. The other game to be played, Sports Club Villa hosts URAFC in Masaka. Express FC remain bottom of the table together with UPDF and Masavu FC. Ngabo Emon reporting for UBS TV.
Usain Bolt will finally make his footballing debut at Old Trafford. The 8-time Olympic gold medalist will captain a team of celebrities and footballers for the Soccer Aid match on the 10th of June. Bolt about wanting to get into professional football after retiring from athletics last year. The 31-year-old is a Manchester United fan. The Soccer Aid game at the team's home ground will see celebrities and former world-class footballers playing together on the same team. The event, which takes place biannually, has raised £24 million to help children since its launch in 2006. The match has seen the likes of Maradona, Alan Shearer and Ronaldinho play alongside celebrities like Mark Wright, Jack Whitehall and Ollie Mars. Will Ferrell, Gordon Ramsay, Mike Myers and Craig David have also played in previous years.
Let's quickly take a look at the headlines once more. Chitata co-accused accept military court. Chief Justice Bart Katurebe requests for more judges. Ramaphosa stamps mark with South Africa cabinet reshuffle, while KCCA continue quest for league summit. And that's all we had time for. Thank you for watching. Do stick around for more programs.